everyone, I'm Milan Silva. Today, we are going to continue with the content we discussed about the API in our last video that we posted here on YouTube. I told you that I was going to talk a little about Postman, how it works, so you can understand it better and be able to use the tool more easily. Guys who haven't seen Postman, don't know how to download it, I have a detailed video here on the channel about Postman, installing it, and basic configurations. It comes pre-configured, but I explain how it works there, okay? It's interesting to watch this video on the channel for you, and I will show it to you. Let's assume you have already downloaded and installed Postman. Next. It's installed. So, look, this here is going to be Postman. It will open up here for you. This corner on the right will probably be empty, and it will probably have the workspace for you here. Most likely a larger workspace. It will be like this, all empty. I like to create workspaces for clients I have worked with, I am currently working with, and will work with in the future, and so on and so forth, because this way it is easier to organize. I think that if you have definitely worked, it's already done, and you want to recall some API that you finished, because the great advantage of Postman is that you create your account, and wherever you log in, it backs up and syncs again. I think this is fantastic. It keeps everything organized and neat. Create a BP at the company, and you can get it there. I have created a sales order. Go there and get something half ready. This speeds up your work. So, look here. Click the plus sign on the left side. Look. Create new collection. I simply just want to create a blank collection. I simply press on blank. Blank collection. It basically creates the collection. I come here now and I will label it. I will call it Sandbox API Hub. That way, I know that everything in here is definitely from the Sandbox API Hub. I'm going to click on the 3 dots. I clicked on the 3 dots. It can create a folder. To organize it by folder, it looks nice. Let's imagine that we are going to organize the folder by scenario. I'm giving a tip, okay, folks? You can organize it however you think is best. I put it here. I want to create this BP. So I'm going to put BP here. Send box. I know I'm definitely navigating here. Everything in here will be just about BP from this entire folder. I can come here now, click on these 3 dots, and I will simply click on ADD request. Here's where we start generating the actual call for whatever we want to do, step by step, carefully and thoroughly. From new request, I will call it business partner. So what I want here is, look, here you can choose the option if you want to do a GET, post, put, patch, and so on, delete. You can choose which action you want to use. We want a GET. Let's go back to the site. Remember that we executed here. Look, we put the request here, added a parameter. Let me copy it again. We fetch this BP here, and it generates a URL for you here. I don't need to keep typing the URL again. I can come here, look, and copy this URL. Copy. Paste here. If I try to send it here now, it won't work. I'll click send here, see. It won't work. They mention HTTP. What's the HTTP response? For 01, unauthorized. For 101 means username and password. Or it's a token that you have to pass to get authorization. And here it says, look, I couldn't resolve the API key. Remember that I mentioned in the last video that they generate an API key for you? So there are 2 ways to pass this API. Let's take a look at the site. When I go here to headers, it has a property called API key and the value of my API key. You can also click on Show API key here to display yours. Use your own. Don't worry about trying to copy what I have here. use your API key. So we will show two ways to do this. I will copy it here. I will come here to Postman. I will go to auth, which is the authorization part, the part for creating authentications. I will put here API key. Mine came pre-filled as I last used it. Yours will be empty. Come here and put the API key here. You will come here, simply copy the value of your key, API key, and just paste it right here in the field below. You will let it pass exactly as a header. When you go here to the header, notice, look, it has already created it for you here in the header. You can do it here in the auth if you prefer. If you also want to do it directly in the header, you can put the API value here and its value down here, which it also accepts. When you put it here in the auth, it automatically generates it for you in the header. Let's send it right now. It will bring it. Here's some very crucial and important information. Why did the XML come? Guys, did you use SAP dates? By nature, they work with XML. I will leave an important tip for those in the integration field and want to work with CPI. It's no use because you definitely saw JSON on the SAP site, wanting to send a JSON to make a post with OData v2 adapters in CPI. You can definitely read it in the SAP help. It does not accept passing JSON for creation. It's a prerequisite. It's a limitation of the CPI datetime adapter. Only XML. You have to do the copy here in XML. So, the functional team gave you the neat JSON, which they found easier in the API. Come here, consume the API in Postman, convert it to XML to pass it there. Remember that in the CPI, you can easily and quickly download the XSD schema from the XML, and you can efficiently map the JSON to the XML of the Adapto standard, OK. Polinho, see it here in Postman, view the JSON. At least I know that it's not possible to do it with Postman, but it can be done with GET. You can come here, look, put it here in front. Question mark. Where's the question mark? Question mark. $. Format. Same as JSON. Once you've done that, you can just send it again. He has now brought the JSON. JSON is easier to read, cleaner, more straightforward for you to read and validate the values. Folks, we understand here how to do a GET in the sandbox. As I mentioned, the post doesn't work. It doesn't accept it if you try. Not even a patch. I'll save it here. When you save it, you have the collection ready. It's an important thing. Sometimes you think I'll send the post collection, but I don't want to send the post collection. Come here to import and select where you saved that collection. It will be a JSON file they give you. This is a collection. The person will give you an organized one. Let's imagine an example. This starter has the sales order, the final version of the BP, and several calls. The programmer did this, or the employee wants to pass it to the programmer. You make it nice and organized and pass it to the programmer. You can come up here and easily do an export. You can simply leave 2 points as they are, do an export, and quickly send the generated file to the person you want to have access to the collection, ensuring they receive it without any issues. Collections include username and password. If the username and password are company credentials, delete them, save, and send the collection without the username and password. If it's a dev scenario, they are testing, everyone uses the same one. You can send it without fear, but be very attentive because of security. You actually showed us a GET request, but I just wanted to see it in the client. I'll just show you a client, a BP. And this BP is in the SAP Public Cloud, in an environment that we call Starter, which is indeed also known as the very first environment that we are creating for the client. Look to see. If I do a get BP on this client, this is a client environment. My API S4HANA clouds. Notice only the initial host changed. Let's open ours again. Look at this. Only the initial host changed here. From here on, it's the same, see? It matches, you know? It's the API, it's standard, both in the sandbox and in your environment. It's the correct path for the API, okay? So you should start getting used to this ending from the /SAP onwards. It's the same. Let's go to the get that's here. If I send this one here, it will give an error. 200, this one, look, is an elf. He is doing a search by username and password, okay? Basic, probably. Basic username and password, okay? So that's why it worked and returned 200. This get worked because of that. It also has basic features and additional functionalities. Post. No way around it, this client here is still using the basics. This is a starter environment. He does not use OAuth 2.0, I use OAuth 2.0. I usually configure it here within the collection. For me to do a search and make it work for everyone here. There's no way to show this here now, so let's forget about it. Let's focus on the client's get. As I mentioned, the get is exactly the same. Here's the public cloud. The service is already active, you have to activate the service. This one is already active, it's working. Look at that. To create the BP, it's not just about creating the BP. Why not just about creating the BP? For the BP, you create the general data of the BP, then add a holy for the BP. If you have more than one holy, you have to first send one holy at a time to the BP, and then you have to first create the sales area, and then next create the customer company. In other words, this is a structure of our scenario of our client to create everything we need for the BP created. It is done this way. I want this BP created. There are detailed particularities here that are important, especially for those who are functional to get used to. Take this, I'll give general data. Have created BP. What did I say earlier? I always do a GT on the BP, get the basic data I have, if I know it's the basic data to create the BP. Because here in the post I have to pass a body. With the fields, I only pass what is needed for each BP. It doesn't have all the fields in the API. If we go to the API, look, go to post, business partner, body. There is a field with desire here in this place. There is a field with desire, longing, and yearning. Look at the small amount of data I passed. I passed the necessary data for the BP to work for this client scenario here. So, you send it here. It gave a 403. For 03, a different HTTP error, as I said. Any doubts? For 03, CSRF token. To make posts in the environments, it just requires a CSRF token. So how do I pass this field, Navon? There is a secret. Look, a get token. I used the one from the BP itself. I copied it, just like that BP we copied here. Exactly. Just like the call here, look. Because I'm not interested in the value it will return in the body. What matters to me is this, look. Inside the header, you have to put this value here, XCSRF token, which is essential for security and proper functionality. You have to put this value here in the header to ensure everything works as expected. And set its value as FET, capital F, ETH. Set this exactly like FET. When I hit send, on the right side here now, I am currently in the body. Actually, I don't want to look at the body, I want to look at the header. Let me find the header right over here. Here, header. Inside the header, it has, such as various elements. It returned an XSF token field, but notice that it came back with the value of a token, a key. I need that value here. I need to copy the value. I must call getToken to make the post. I must get the token. This token is valid for a certain period. You just need to keep getting it. I already have one saved here to get the token. I will come here to the post, which is the nice URL of the BP, nice of the post. What URL is this? As I mentioned here, the beginning of my client and the end. I always come here. And I take it from here, I run it here for it to execute, then it will give an error. It runs, it generates, but since you are doing it in the client's environment, you can ask the ABAP. If you don't know how to find it in the cloud, they will show you how to find it. They will give you the exact address. All set up, okay? Because in the environment, it generates the endpoint for you, okay? Ready for you to use there. I wanted to show it here, but let me find it. I requested the business partner. Here, write post. I'm going to run anything, but he says it's like this in blocks. Like I said, the beginning here is different from the end. You can take it from here and put it here too. The beginning of your environment, your host. I have to come here in the header, as I was definitely saying. In the XSRF token here, look, I simply establish a variable called XCSRF token and place that guy I just copied completely. I paste it here. I put this one here too, look, accept application /JSON. I am passing a JSON to it as the body, accept JSON. There's no point doing this in CPI. You can try if you're curious. Curious? Go ahead. It will give an error. You can read in the SAP help about the adaptive v2 adapter, the power supply of the adaptive v2. All right? Did it? Gonna send. He said he created the final business partner like 70. Let's see if he really did. I'll come here to the get BP now. I want to filter the 70. I will delete. You can use single quotes as well. You don't have to leave it as you want. You can use single quotes. Send it and it will accept. Got it. The BP was created in the client's environment. Great. You created the BP. Now I want to create the business role. How would it be? I have to link it again. I'll copy this token here. It should still be valid. I'll link it in Holy. We'll highlight in the header. We'll change it. Delete. Control V. Placed it. Same thing. Accept application JSON and the XDF token here. Now he wants the BP number. He asks for the BP number here and here too. Let me get it because I deleted it. I lost the BP. I take what I just fetched this guy created. I put the BP number in the JSON and in the variable here. It asks to pass it in the URL as well. If it doesn't pass, it will register incorrectly. It's slow, but it should work. He said he created the business role in this BP. He sent to create another business role. It has to link the same thing. Put the value here. Put the value up here as well. It could be in the same call, folks. I only made another call for organization. Maybe in the same call I changed the value of the parameters and it would accept. If I send it, will it give an error? The token is missing. I will get the token from here. I put token, let's register one more role. I register a role, I want to register the business area, sales area. Sales area. There's a section of the sales area filled out here. I'm going to change the customer number here. Change it up here. See the detail. There's a customer in many places, so adjust it everywhere. Everywhere you use the customer value, change it here. I changed it here. I'm going to copy the token. It be valid. I just placed the token right here. Control V, send. $201 customer sales area created successfully in the business partner that I set. Oh, I want to create the customer company too. Create it so we can see. Come here, it's the same thing. You have to come here. Get the BP number there and come back to change it. Change here. Change up here too. I'll go get the token right now, okay? Please paste the token right here. Don't send it yet. Put my company successfully created for the business partner 201 up here, successfully created. In other words, my BP is now complete and fully operational. If I send a request here, specifically a GET request, let's see if it will successfully retrieve all the data that we require. It doesn't bring all the data. Here, it only brings the root of the business partner, additionally. In other words, I want to see the rest of the information, the business partner, and everything else, including additional details. You can definitely come here to the API. What is the GT? I don't actually know. The specific fields you just registered, the specific details. You come here, search here, API, and do the GET, and you will find the information you just saved one by one, easily and efficiently. For example, if I want to be in the loop here, I can come here, get the GET of the business role to see if the role was successfully created. I'm going to do something slightly cool here. I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to log into the client's S/4HANA Cloud environment to provide a detailed demonstration and show you the business partner setup process there. It's the client's starter environment in the S/4HANA Cloud. Username, password. For those who have never seen it, this is indeed the famous S/4HANA Public Cloud, which is selling like hotcakes in projects. So, that's how it is now. Very, very popular. All of Fiori, it's not just about asking for more. Everything is in the browser, quite different from that. My students, no worries. There will be detailed content on how to configure, activate the APIs. In the standard format we use of 10, 15, or 20 minutes, there will be several explanatory step-by-step lessons about this part of the integration. Let me see how the BPQ really looks like. I don't really know if it's actually called business partner in here. Business. The app to see. Business partner, like that. Let's see, just for a little while longer. Partner. PP find display business partner, price denied, P0 transaction if it has, P03 right, to the system and details for verification if applicable and necessary. PP, Jesus indeed opened a lot of various results, okay? The cost is here, but it's already many different and numerous transactions. Oh my god. Very good in these parts here, still mastering the navigation in the standard transactions of the public cloud. Not yet. But come here. Maintain business partner. Filter we created. We can check here, look. It's 70. It appeared here. Our BP. We created it, okay? Let's go. There. We see the data we registered there. Let's check out, where's the post first post create BP? Let's go. Go see what we sent and verify thoroughly. Sent it there. Look, carefully. Sao Paulo, Indianapolis, over there. Sao Paulo, Annapur, 1790. Annapur Avenue, 7 and 90, Pura Avenue. Let me see what else we added. Did we add something about identification? Let me check. Here, there's an address here. Here, look. We provided the address. The zip code is nice here. In other words, the business partner we registered, we just saw it here now within the SAP Public Cloud. All right? So, I wanted to show you this, which works perfectly. I showed you that it is creating and placing it here. Folks, this was the content I wanted to bring to you. I think that for those who are functional, it is very important to master this subject now. This subject is going to become. I'm not just talking about SAP Public Cloud, folks. I am mainly talking about knowing and understanding how to work with APIs, using Postman, knowing how to thoroughly and effectively make a post, create and build a JSON like this one, because you will always need to do this in the specs. To create an integration spec, you essentially need to provide a model JSON for the programmer to work with in the model. It is the responsibility of the functional team to provide this ready mapping. The team is having difficulty, they struggle with JSON, they have trouble knowing where there should be a comma and where there shouldn't be, and so on. Call Technical Guide to help. He will explain the first step to you. You will see one and then continue walking on your own. It's normal, folks. Everyone has difficulty at the beginning. Everything new is strange for everyone. We shouldn't be ashamed to ask questions. Oh, I'm a senior. There are a lot of things I don't know. I'm not very proficient. See the transactions standards. The public cloud was clear in the video recording. You saw the difficulty I had in finding the transaction. I'm not actually an expert, just as I hope you're not an expert in everything, okay? But it's interesting, from now on, to start learning. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to bring this content, to make it easier for you to know how to use it. If you have any questions, comment below the video. Neelan, this wasn't clear? Could you record a video explaining this? Or ask a specific question? Are you embarrassed to post it publicly here on YouTube? You can go to my Instagram, message me on WhatsApp, my WhatsApp number is there. You can call me, it will be a pleasure to answer and help you. And who knows, you might even give me an idea for new content. Guys, thank you very much. God bless you. See you in our next video.